Okay, good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing today? Good? Okay, good to hear. So, my name is Daniela. Over there we have Johnny and we have Moose, and today we are going to be talking about a product that we have created, or would like to create, called Balanced Breath.
Okay, so I'll start off the presentation with a question. So, out of all the smokers in the world, how many people do you think are smokers?
2.7 billion.
Sorry?
2.7 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there?
1 in 7 people.
1 in 7 people. Wow.
Yeah, you got it right. It's 1 in 7 people. So, out of that 1 in 7 people, you tend to walk by many of them on a daily basis as you go throughout your life. And one thing that I noticed was I can't go anywhere realistically, even in my own city, Pickering, without seeing smokers outside of malls or restaurants or wherever I'm going, and they're constantly right outside the doorways, even, not just away in the parking lots where they should be. So what I thought about coming up with was a product that eliminates the smell versus masking it, because then Danielle is going to talk about how it affects the corporate world, but I'll just briefly touch on the fact that when you smoke a cigarette or a joint now, since marijuana is legal, you have to carry around gum or some sort of perfume or cologne to mask the smell, but the problem with that is you're essentially eliminating one smell, but you're creating a whole new smell with the cologne and perfumes that some people are maybe allergic to, or it irritates other people. So you can talk about that.
So, from my personal experiences, whenever I'm going into like a hospital or like passing by or just going in, I notice that there's a lot of doctors and people working within the hospital that come out for like, a smoke break. And I realized that I always wonder why they come outside smoking. And when you smoke, like obviously like it affects you and like it catches onto your clothes. So doctors and nurses who are coming outside for a smoke break and going back into the hospital to see their patients are also inhaling that smoke, and that could be bothersome to them, and some people like might even be allergic to it. Or also people in the business field who have business meetings to go to, or they work at like in the office, they probably would not want to be smelling like smoke or have that scent on them. So that's why most of them probably don't go out for their smoke break or anything like that. So they might like be like embarrassed or like ashamed of that, or what their colleagues might think.
Okay, so our idea is that we have a prototype in like progress that we're making, and what it is that you have two ends. One side would be the mouthpiece, and right before the mouthpiece there would be like a little slot that you can. What we're trying to make is like a filter that isn't. It's like methanol that isn't chemical. So when you inhale, when you insert the cigarette from the other side, and there would be a cover on the other side. That when you inhale the smoke, when you like pull on the cigarette or on the blunt, that tobacco or marijuana smell would mix in with the methanol. That wouldn't be toxic, so you wouldn't get like a toxic disease, and it would go into your mouth, and it would also make it a little less harsh on your esophagus and on your throat when you're smoking it. That when you do exhale, it exhales a different scent instead of it being the scent of either the tobacco or the marijuana. In marijuana, it would be like less, like it would be more of like a sweeter smell. And we're trying to make it as compactable as possible. There would be like different sizes for like the different type of cigarettes you're smoking. Either it would be the regular 85 millimeter length, because that's how big the regular cigarettes are, or they're the king sizes that are 100 millimeters. So, and then the diameter would be of 8 millimeters. So that's what we're trying to implement for the design. We currently have a prototype that is in progress.
Okay, so now we have the battle of the smokers and the non-smokers. So even people who do smoke, they do have a problem with the smell of the smoke. Again, most people, we found all this information from City Lab, and people who do smoke, they often don't smoke in stuffy areas because they do not enjoy the smell or even smelling of smoke. Like again, people who work in the business field or even people in the medical field working in hospitals. And people also who don't smoke, they do not like the compact areas because they don't like becoming infected with the smell of smoke and inhaling that into their body. So they try and get away from those people as much as possible. Like I don't know if any of you feel the same way, but for me, when I'm at a family event or if someone in my family is smoking, like I tend to often get away from them because I don't enjoy the smell of the smoke. So that is something that I'm affected by, and other people who have family members or they just know friends or even people who smoke, they often tend to get away from that. So a quote from this article, the part that I've highlighted is what I see is most important. So the influence of the smell is one of the biggest, of the strongest determinants of how people interact with or avoid one another in public. So the smell is what the biggest problem is, and it's what we're trying to accomplish, to take away. So possibly more interactions with their family would be easier instead of trying to get away from them. So again, this product, we are trying to market to people in the business field and in the medical field.
Also, we're targeting the general public. So basically, why the idea? Our target is to eliminate the smell of cigarettes, and not only eliminate the smell from inhaling the smoke and the taste, but eliminates the smell coming off at the end of the cigarette and the joints or blunts. And so basically the cost that we're looking at for the disposable capsule is around $8. So because we wanted to have it be cheaper than cigarette packs, so people don't necessarily feel like they're doing extra so smokers don't feel like they're doing anything extra out of the ordinary just to benefit the people around them.
Wrap it up.
And as you're listening, you may be thinking, well, why don't people just buy vapes if they want to solve this problem? So our product it's targeting people that still like the smell of smoking.
Okay. You're Y2, you take our time serious. So judges.
I'm going first this time. Okay, I'm not a smoker, but I do not like the smell of smoke. Have you talked, first of all, are any of you smokers? I won't shame you if you are, it's okay. Have you actually talked to people who smoke about this product? Like, have you gone to them and done a little bit of research to say, listen, would you like to put your cigarette inside of and I don't know what material this is made of, plastic, glass, ceramic, whatever it might be. Have you asked any smokers, would you use this product and would you put the cigarette or whatever it is into that piece? That's my biggest question. Mark?
We haven't yet, but we're planning on doing research for people who are affected by the smoking and for the smokers themselves, if basically what you're just saying. Yeah.
You're considering selling for $8. Do you have any idea, again, I'm not clear like Jay is, on what materials you're going to be using, so what would your cost of production be? Do you have any idea? I like your idea of the price point not being prohibitive, so if they're already smoking, they just pick something else up at the convenience store, but I'm just wondering what it costs to actually sort of develop and manufacture where you're going.
We're thinking about a plastic, sort of plastic exterior to also not, because it would be cheaper and also lighter, but the interior would have to be some sort of metal membrane, so we're thinking, I guess, aluminum, just because there would be something burning in there.
Like something that's not non-flammable, because the cigarette or the blunt is still lit inside of the capsule, so we don't want it to like burn.
So listen, I think you're onto something here, and especially with legalization of cannabis. You spent a lot of time on the problem. I would have loved to see a little bit more validation. I think this is where Jess was going. The product design, I'm still not clear how that works.
Just to, 1 minute remaining. I'm not sure if this is 100% correct, but I understand that the founders of the e-vape were two young people that sold it for $16 billion. So I do think that you're onto something. I mean, maybe you need to pivot, which is okay as a business. But yeah, I didn't get an understanding of how you're going to make money. So more validation, talking to some of the people, and even the design itself, I would have loved to have seen. But can you talk just a little bit about how you would even market this?
Okay, so the way we were trying to market is that we're planning to team up with like big cigarette companies or like us or like malls or any like major cigarette companies, and it would come in the package of the cigarettes. So people wouldn't have to make the extra step and extra effort of going to a different store and buying the capsule. It would just, the first one would come with the actual cigarette. It would be like an attachment that you can buy on.
Premium with it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of exposes them just already, so they don't.
Put a brand on it.
Yeah, so it would be like their choice if they want to use it or not.
Great, good job, guys.